this video, we are going to cover some basic mathematical operations. So I have this table having two columns and they have numbers, and these are the operations I have to perform. I have to sum these two numbers, then I have to sum these two numbers and also adding a constant, then I have to product them and then average them. So for these 10 values, I have these 40 cells to be filled. Even with calculator it will take time, but with Google Sheet we can fill these within seconds. Let's see how. So if I write a formula here, I can either convert this cell into edit mode or write the formula from the formula bar. So if I write from the cell, let's double tap. Now if I use formula equal to, so to add this value, I can use either 5 plus 45 and press enter. It will be 50, but this number will always remain 50. If I change this to, let's say, 50, it is 50 still. This is the reason we use cell reference instead of using values. So if I use cell reference A2 plus B2 and press enter, the value is 95. If I change it again to 5 and press enter, the value is 50. This is the reason we use cell reference. Now if I go to this small blue dot, you will see a plus sign here, and dragging this plus sign to the cells will fill the other cell with the same formula. So if you can see that this has A3 and B3, not A2 and B2. So we have dragged the formula, it also has dragged the rows with it. Similarly, if you want to fill the entire table, just go to this blue dot. Similarly, if you drag it again, it will fill these cells again with the same formula, but the row number will change. So for this, the row number is A5 and B5. If you want to fill the entire table, you can just go and double tap here. It will fill the entire table with the same formula, changing the row numbers. Now let's move to the sum with constant. Let's write the formula in the formula bar. So if I use equal to and add these two numbers, A2, B2 and the constant, which is B12, and press enter, 239 is the sum, which is 50 plus 189. Now if I drag this formula, this one is still 26. Why? Because as we know that when we drag the formula, it dragged the rows as well. So it is changing the row from A2 to A3, B2 to B3, and even changing B12 to B13, which has nothing. That is the reason it is 26. For this problem, we give the absolute reference. So here we want to fix our row number. So to fix row number, we can use dollar before the row number. So if I use dollar, it will give it the absolute reference. So if I change it to 12 again and press enter, now as you can see, it is the sum. Now if I drag and drop it, this is the sum of these two numbers with the constant. If you check the formula, it is B12. Now if you fill it, you can see this is the sum and constant. Similarly, you can fill this formula here as well. You have to fill the formula horizontally. So if I write the formula is equals to, this is J13 plus, let's use J14 and press enter, which is 50. If I double tap here, it will fill it vertically only. So I cannot use double tap here. I only have to drag it. Now as you can see, it has filled the sum. Now if I use sum with constant and add J13, J14 with the constant B12 and press enter, as you can see, it is the constant, it is the sum. Now if I drag it, still you can see it is 26. Let's use dollar and press enter. Let's delete this one and now drag it. Still it is 26. What is the reason? As we are dragging it horizontally, the column is changing. So the rows are changing horizontally. The column is changing horizontally as well. So here the row is J13, J14 and B12. Here the rows are K13 dragged horizontally, K14 dragged horizontally and C12. For that reason, we cannot use this. So if I delete it, now we have to change this formula to absolute reference of row as well as absolute reference of column. So if I give absolute reference to column, I have to use dollar before B and then press enter. Now I can fill this formula. As you can see, it is the sum with constant. This is how you can use absolute cell reference or normal cell reference. Now let's write the formula for product is equals to A2 star B2 star B12 with the absolute reference. Let's press enter. And as you can see, Google Sheet is suggesting me to autofill it. We know we can autofill it by dragging it or double clicking it, but Google Sheet is also suggesting me to directly autofill it. So I can fill it and it has been filled. Similarly, I can write the average formula. So as we know, average is the sum of all the values divided by the number of values. So if I sum these values and divide them, or I can use the sum and then divide it by 3 as well. So let's write the formula. So if I use this plus this plus this and then divided by 3, it will give me the same value. If I use the sum, which is this, and divided by 3, and if I press enter, it is the average. And as you can see, Google is suggesting me, so I will click it and it will fill the average. So this is how you can use formulas. We will talk about functions in the next video. Thank you.